Alright guys. Alright, it is still dark, 6:38 in the morning. This is our earliest day yet. We got 16.7 to make it to the trailhead at Highway 7. We'd like to get there early afternoon so we have a good chance of getting a hitch into town. Plan is to get there, get our resupply box, and then get a hotel room for the night, and then clean up our stuff, you know, do our resupply, all that kind of stuff. So this is going to be our first in-town stop at the end of today. Well, the sun's starting to come up here. We're about a half mile in. We are hoping to get to town today. We need to make it to town. The batteries for most of our electronic devices are dead, save for my phone, so I have gut hooks. And this camera is got about 40% power, so hopefully I can catch the rest of the day, but there is a possibility that this camera may die. Oh man, we didn't get much sleep last night. I had to get up and put up my rain fly, but I didn't put it up. I should have. The forecast wasn't calling for any rain, and then started to feel the sprinkle and had to jump out of bed and put that up. Had a rough time sleeping. I think Fancy Pantz had a rough time sleeping too. Today's definitely going to be hard. We're going to earn town today. Now, that is a sight I have never seen. Well, if anybody was curious about how turtles do it, we now have our answer. Wow. Alright, Mark's on the bridge. Guess we're going under. Things are getting interesting. As we're approaching Highway 7, the trail has turned into a paved sidewalk with a bridge crossing. We should be coming right out here on the highway in the parking lot here. Somebody cashed some water. Anyway, we're going to see if we can get a hitch into Hot Springs. Well, we've been out here for probably about 40 minutes now, and we haven't been able to get a hitch. Everything that I've read has said that it's not too difficult to get a hitch into town from here, but our experience has not been thus. Fancy over here has our fancy handy dandy sign that says hikers to town, which usually helps me in areas that they don't really know who you are. You know, this isn't like the Appalachian Trail or the PCT where they expect hikers every year. A lot of people just think you're, you know, bums sticking your fingers out on the side of the road, and a lot of people are understandably reluctant to pick up hitchhikers. So I used my inReach device and I sent messages out to my mother and my girlfriend, and they both got a hold of the Hot Springs taxi service, which does service this area. So if you're hiking this trail and you're in a bind and you can't get a hitch from this, and Hot Springs is one of your places for resupply, the Hot Springs taxi service is on its way. I guess we got an ETA of 30 to 40 minutes, and then we're gonna get picked up and hopefully taken to a hotel, and then we're gonna go get food because me and Fancy are hungry. So this is our accommodation, days in Hot Springs. We have the usual pack explosions going on as we're reorganizing our gear, and we've picked up our resupply at the post office. It was nice to get a hot shower, and we're going to be going and getting dinner at a German restaurant in town, and then tomorrow early in the AM we are going back to the trail. Well, we are back on trail. It is the morning of the 8th. We took a 0 day in Hot Springs. It will be our only 0 day on this entire trip. We will still be going into town to get resupplies, of course. And we do have one more hotel stay when we get into Mina, but we'll be heading out immediately the next morning and getting back on trail. We're fully stocked, got 4 liters of water, It's supposed to be hitting 90 degrees today, so hopefully we'll be spared some of that by the thick canopy over the top of us. Since we're going in October, the trees are still full of leaves. If we waited a month from now, we might have got better views, but we would definitely not be the shade, though it would also be a lot cooler. We've got 14.4 ahead of us today. We're going to Blue Mountain Shelter. Onward! Break time. Another well put together shelter. This one is Big Bear Shelter. I've got this creek barely flowing right next to the shelter, but it's got enough water that we were able to get another couple liters out of it. Water's scarce out here. Gotta take it when you can get it. Point Archer. What a gorgeous lookout spot.
So, I made it down here, way up there. See that? That's the kind of outcropping at the bottom of like a 30, 40 yard, really steep hillside. There's really no path. But yeah, I made it all the way down here to get water. This is absolutely gorgeous. I could not just leave this unfilmed. And as you can see, this water source is a lot clearer than ones we've been dealing with. That's just awesome. Wow. I gotta get back up there afterwards somehow without dying or something. Yeah, wish me luck.
Well, right before the climb up to the Ouachita Pinnacle, we met a nice little family of 3 who had a bunch of snacks and drink mixes and all kinds of other stuff that they were carrying on a small section hike of the trail. I think they're doing just 20 miles. Anyway, we sat and talked and visited with them for probably an hour and a half. And they were kind enough to share food with us. It was a great trail magic experience. They were very, very nice people. We really did appreciate it. Now we kind of got to beat the clock if we want to get into a shelter before dark. We're hoping to get into Blue Mountain Shelter before dark. If we don't, we don't. That's fine. We got headlamps. We can hike in the dark, but the goal is to try to get there while we still have some sun. Well, this looks like the trail junction here. I think the white blazes go up to where that radio tower it is. I don't know if you guys can see that. I think that's the official top of the Ouachita Pinnacle. Our trail goes this way, and we are trying to make miles. So, well, it's 6:13. We have made it to our home for the night. This is Blue Mountain Shelter. This is the first one of these we're actually going to get to stay at. I'm tired. It's probably half an hour till dark. Time to make some dinner. So tonight we're doing something a little bit different than we normally do. We are just camping out on the deck of the shelter. We have blown up our sleeping pads. I have not set up my hammock. Fancy has not set up his tent. And we're also kind of low on water. We filled up at the last available source for our 4-liter capacity, but it wasn't all that close to here. So we've got a couple liters left. Fancy over there is holding up to his bottle. That's what he's got left. And I've got a little less than 2 liters in my bag over here. So we just ate snacks for dinner tonight. And we're going to hike 3.8, I think, tomorrow before we hit the first available water source. And then from there, we should be okay. But we're conserving water tonight. Well, good morning, everyone. We slept in again because we're lazy like that. I just wanted to show you guys how I slept last night. I actually hung up my hammock inside of the shelter. There are a bunch of stick bugs out here, and why they are not something that can hurt you. They were like crawling across our face and stuff, and I just got tired of it, and I hung my hammock up in the shelter. If you're hiking on a high traffic trail, I would recommend not doing this. It is rude. You want to make sure that you leave enough space in the shelter for other hikers to utilize it. Places like the Appalachian Trail. We've seen next to nobody out here and weren't expecting anybody, so I went ahead and hung my hammock up in here, and it worked pretty good. Well, it's about 9:30 in the morning. We're getting on Trail 8. We are headed to the nearest water source. That's 3.4 miles away. I've got about a liter because we saved water last night, so we'd have water for this trip to the water source. It's going to be high 80s today and a beautiful hike. Glorious Vista. If I had to guess, and I do, I think that's probably named after the proprietor of the Bluebell Cafe, where we are going to be headed tomorrow. And we have arrived at our home for tonight, but it was almost 3/4 of a mile down a hill. We got to walk back up that tomorrow night, but this is Bill Potter's shelter. Uncle Bill Potter Shelter. Well, someone left us a good pile of firewood tonight, and there's not a burn ban going on, so Fancy and I figured we would indulge in a little bit of a campfire before we go to bed. Well, it is Sunday the 10th. It is 7:17 in the morning. We left camp at 6:52. We're a couple miles into the trail already. We're looking forward to getting into town and having some burgers, supposedly the best burgers around. We're going to be picked up by Lori, who owns the Bluebell Cafe, and then we're going to go in there and eat and hang around for a while, charge devices, maybe pick up some ice cream. So we're pretty motivated by food right now, and we're probably going to be there no later than 10 o'clock. It's possible we'll be earlier than that. We've only got about 4.5 miles left before we hit the road where we're supposed to be picked up. So we're looking forward to that. Well, Fancy Pantz and I are down here at Highway 27, as the sign says, and we're waiting to be picked up in, just about 10 minutes to go into Story and the Bluebell. Well, we ate the breakfast burritos too fast to film, folks, but here's our second course, pancakes. So we went into the Bluebell Cafe, we ate, we picked up a few supplies, and found out that they had a cabin for rent for $55. And since the Bluebell Cafe was the only miles we had to make today, we figured we'd take it and relax and take a shower. This place is amazing. I cannot believe the price tag on this for a night. But we've got a full kitchen and TV, cable, Wi-Fi. Bedroom with a queen size bed. There's one upstairs also with a queen size bed. Really nice bathroom with a really nice shower. You never know what's gonna happen out on the trail. So yeah, we're just gonna relax for the rest of the day and head out early on the trail tomorrow. Well, it is the morning of the 11th. We are back on trail. We stayed in that cabin last night, and then we were picked up, taken back down to the cafe where we had a fantastic breakfast. Well, it was awesome. If you guys do this trail, stop in, give us some love, support the store. It is the place to go if you're hiking on the Ouachita Trail. We're getting a pretty late start today. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. We have 13.1 to go to Suck Mountain Shelter. Here we go. Well, we're 5 miles in. This is Story Creek Shelter. I'm loving these little things. They're very similar, each of them. They've got all these little decks and covered spaces and shelves and picnic tables. We've got a couple of campfires. These things are pretty amazing. Time to get a snack. Suck Mountain Shelter. This is our intended destination for the evening, but we may or may not stay. It's still early in the day, and we would like to check out the water situation up ahead to make a decision. Well, since it's this early in the day, and we still have plenty of energy left, and the water situation is dry up near Suck Mountain Shelter, we're gonna go down another 3 miles, all downhill to Harris Creek. There is a tent site down there where we'll be able to set up camp for the night, and it'll put us close to a water source. Well, it's about 5:20, and we have now found ourselves a little tenting spot on Gut Hooks. It's over here by Harris Creek. It is 3 miles ahead of our intended destination at Suck Mountain Shelter, so we are now ahead of schedule. Well, it's about 7:30 in the morning. We're getting camp broke down. Had ourselves a little morning fire, which is not something we normally do. Today we only have to get 11.2 miles to Big Brushy Campground, and then Big Brushy Creek is right there as well. And we were looking at Gut Hooks, and that is the last listed water source for 26 miles. There's a 26.5 mile gap between the Big Brushy Creek and Foreign Gap. So we're not quite sure how we're going to handle the water situation. We might call down to Bluebell and see if they can stash some water for us. But we haven't got those logistics worked out, and that's a pretty long stretch between water sources. So all part of the adventure. Ah, Fiddler Creek Shelter. Snack time. Well, we're at the entrance to Big Brushy. It says day use only, open 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Apparently it's not a campground anymore. I checked gut hooks and I guess there was a storm that came through in 2015 and did a bunch of damage, and they closed it down and never opened it back up for anything but day use. All the most recent comments on gut hooks for 2021 are saying that none of that has changed since 2015. Well, and here we are in the Big Brushy campground. It's pretty big. You can tell that it used to be a place for camping, but now it's just got picnic tables and grills. I think we're just gonna sit, take a break, have a snack, figure out where we're gonna actually camp for tonight. And there's Fancy Pantz descending down to get our water from Big Brushy Creek. It's the most water in one place that we've seen in quite some time. There's a blue blaze on the bridge. We're just leaving Big Brushy and going across this thing. This is pretty cool. So we found ourselves a spot next to the river, a little ways down from Brushy Creek Campground, which is now a day use area. It is not designated as a campground, but it'll do for us for now so we can stay close to the water. That way we can leave with full amount tomorrow. We're gonna have a cache put out for us at about 10 miles from here. So we'll just have to grab our 4 liters for tomorrow and then head out and grab the cache. That's gonna be on Forest Road 76. However, if you can hear that thunder, the weather's coming in. It's about to rain on us, so we are going to hunker down and probably chill for the evening because we have no idea how long this rain is going to last.